All right, here we are for day 4 of the creation account in Genesis chapter 1. Before we dive into our passage, I just want to remind us one of the reasons why God gave this creation account, and in fact all of Genesis and Exodus and these other first 5 books of the Bible, one of the reasons he gave these chapters to the Israelites at the time was because they were about to go into the promised land and take it. God was commanding them to go in and take the promised land. It's yours. It's a land flowing with milk and honey, and I'm giving it to you. And they needed to fight for that. They needed to fight the people who were inhabiting the land at the time, and they needed to understand why. Why did they need to fight, go to war with these people? So they needed to understand where they came from. They needed to understand where their enemies came from and why this land was being given to them. And one of the things that was happening at the time, the Israelites came from an environment where the people in the region, many of them worshipped the sun, the stars, the moon, all these things. And God, in today's passage, in day 4 of creation, he's telling them that in fact he is the creator of all those things, that they are to worship him and him alone, not the sun, not the stars, not the moon, not all of these created things. And so let's jump into Genesis chapter 1 verse 14 and read about day 4 when God creates the lights and the moon and the stars. It says, "Then God said, 'Let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night. And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the expanse of the heavens to give light on the earth.' And it was so. God made the 2 great lights, the greater light to govern the day, and the lesser light to govern the night. He made the stars also. God placed them in the expanse of the heavens to give light on the earth, and to govern the day and the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. There was evening and there was morning, a 4th day." So some of you may be asking, well, this is the day. This is day 4, and this is when God creates the sun and the moon and the stars. Where was all... we were talking about days, right? 24-hour days, and it even says there was morning and there was evening, or there was evening and there was morning one day, there was evening and there was morning a second day, and then the 3rd day. Where was this light during those first 3 days coming from, if the sun wasn't even created until day 4? Good question. I'm glad you asked. God was the source of that light. God was the light that governed the day. He was the light that governed the night. He was the light. Just like in Revelation 21, where we see that God is going to be the source of light in the New Jerusalem. Same thing here. God was the source of the light. And it says that he created the lights to separate the day from the night, right? So the greater light and the lesser light. The greater light was the sun to govern the day. The lesser light was the moon and the stars to govern the night. And he also says, let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. So, right, the sun comes up and then it goes down. That's a day. That's daylight. And then, the moon is around at night. That's nighttime. That's a sign for the nighttime. And then for the seasons, right, we all understand that the tilt of the earth causes the seasons throughout the year. And in biblical times, in Old Testament times, they could tell the seasons by how high the sun was in the sky. And of course, the moon, the full moon and the half moon and all that, that's a sign for the various months of the year. These are all signs and for seasons and for days and for years that the Lord gave us. And the stars, right? He says he created the stars also. He made the stars also in verse 16. A lot of people say, well, this is proof that the universe has to be billions of years old, right? Because How could God create something where the light takes billions of years, right? Some of these lights are millions or billions of light years away from us, so it takes the light that long to arrive here on Earth. How could this be a young Earth if the light takes that long just to get here? How could the universe be so young? Answer: if God can create the stars, he can create the earth, and he can create the space in between them, he could also create the light that's in between here and there. This is day 4. This is where God gives us the sun, the moon, the stars, the seasons, right? The days, the years, the months. This is an amazing day in creation. And I hope you are blessed by this. I hope that you will continue to just read through and dig through Genesis chapter 1. Hopefully with a new pair of eyes, hopefully with new questions. If you ever have any questions about any of this, come talk to me or any of the pastors here at The Rock. One resource I would give you, one resource that I refer to very often, is a ministry called Answers in Genesis. Just Google Answers in Genesis. Ken Ham is the president of that ministry. It's an amazing ministry. It gives you all kinds of articles, research, studies, all from a biblical perspective, a biblical worldview. So I encourage you to check out Answers in Genesis. I'll see you all next time when we'll look at day 5.